Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our new Big Brother 22 All-Stars live feed spoilers. We are coming out now of the Final Four veto, the most important power of veto of the entire season, also fittingly the last one. And we will tell you in here who won it, what does it mean for the rest of the game. We will pontificate. We will have our thinking caps at max capacity to try to think of those scenarios. All right, before we get into it, if you guys do like this discussion, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I promise we did not try to practice sighing on unison, but it happened. And if you guys do want to support us more, check those links to the store and our Patreon.
Yeah, because Cody has won the veto.
It is that no lead up, nothing. We just
guys,
throw that out there.
It's just, you're here to know what's happened. This is what has happened. It is pretty much like the whole season has been. Cody has just steamrolled this season.
Remember when I think it was yesterday I said that there are 75% chance here that we could have an interesting scenario, because I think if any other person won the veto, there would be some stuff to talk through. And I still think there's a thing or two to talk through here with Cody as well, but it's like, of course Big Brother 22 gives us the most predictable outcome with the veto.
I was really excited about this scenario that I'd made up in my head about Enzo winning and then kind of trading Christmas's life on the block to get rid of Nicole. I was just like, I know he didn't say it, but that would have totally been a great move that he could have made, and he could have made that happen.
Your plan, Chris, though, as we called it yesterday, would have been so much fun, and I was caught off guard with everything about this, because this was a really fast veto. I was just like, alright, I'm gonna go make some buffalo chicken, get some good dinner to go here. I was like getting things set up in the kitchen.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna have a little more time before this. We even yesterday we had a little bit of time because things were getting a little quiet, so we had watch some Nick Cage. Yeah, it was so good. We watched National Treasure. That was great.
The clues are in the Constitution. Okay, this is the thing. Somebody needs to hide a clue inside the Big Brother house that is some sort of secret power. It can undo the veto. Like, can Nick Cage... Okay, you can't bring Nick Cage in the house, but can we have Nick Cage on Big Brother 23? I'm just saying, he would have the greatest stories on the... I would never stop watching the live feeds. I would just be
so good.
Wiring caffeine into my veins.
Yeah, but we don't have Nick Cage. Instead, we have Cody, who has won the veto, as we said. And so, I mean, Christmas is done.
Well, okay. Here is the thing with this. And I'm going to make a case here. I don't think this is going to happen, but... if I was Cody, I would strongly consider getting rid of Nicole here, and here is the reason why. This competition, it involves speed and it involves knowing the days, and we know Nicole has studied extensively, and we know about Nicole's secret workouts with Victor before the season to prepare her for this, but...
more than I work out, I gotta give it to her.
Well, she did well. She did well in this competition, and guess what? Christmas, for all of her hype, for all of her comp beast just talk, she's not great in these competitions late in the game. Shocker. Enzo, yes, he won HOH, but are you going to tell me that you're going to count on Enzo to win late game Big Brother competitions?
Yes, he has won 2 HOHs in a veto. He's the HOH currently. Listen, you can see yourself out, man.
I love me some Enzo, but it's like, well, Enzo, he can't be evicted this week, and beyond all that, I just don't think Enzo, when the pressure is on. Nicole, she's won a lot recently.
Yep.
She knows the days really well.
Yes. The problem is that Christmas 100% is not going to take Cody to the end if she does end up winning. Nicole might. I feel like she won't. I feel like she'll cut Cody, but there is a better chance for Cody if Nicole wins that she might take him. Christmas 100% is not going to take him.
Here is just, and everything is a risk in Big Brother, right? Like, this is just what I would sort of think about if I'm Cody. Do I think that there is, what's the percentage chance that either Enzo or Christmas beats you in the final HOH? I think it's pretty low. But I think it's much higher that Nicole beats him in the final HOH than those other two. And yeah, there's a chance that Nicole will take him to the end anyway, which would totally just, that's like Nicole being like, you know what, I really want to win second place this season.
Yeah, the thing is that I think with how much Cody has won this season, which is just quite incredible, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think he's worried about Nicole winning that final one. And then we've got Enzo, who has won a few things as well. He's won 2 HOHs, he's won a veto. Like, he's not doing bad either. But Cody has basically won more than the two of them combined. So, I mean, he's probably just feeling himself a little bit. This game has gone exactly the way that he wants it to. He'll end up at the final 3 here with the 2 people he wanted to end up there with. Like, everything has worked out for him.
And do I think that he could have an easier path at the final 3 in terms of winning if he brings Christmas there? I do personally, but yeah, there's a good chance Cody's just gonna win it outright anyway. I just want to see him think about it. I want to see Enzo go to him and try to find a way to throw Nicole under the bus as much as possible. Like, I want to just give me something here, guys.
I would like to see it as well, but I just don't see it happening. This has worked out exactly right for Cody because he can beat both of them if he ends up at that last spot. And both of them have said that they're going to take him, as opposed to Christmas, who is absolutely not going to take him. There is no way. So if there's some sort of like, oh, I messed up on the competition and now all of a sudden Christmas is in this position of power, Cody has made a huge mistake. But bringing, you're going to bring along Nicole, you're going to bring along Enzo, you have a good chance that they could take you.
There's going to be some suspense, I think, at the end of all of this and who ends up being there with Cody and Enzo, just from the vantage point of Cody has to know somewhere in the back of his head that, winning this veto is obviously very, very good for him. And I'm not saying he should have thrown it by any means whatsoever, but he's got to know, I won this, I've won a billion other things. He has been dominant this season. Like, we'll put some respect on Cody's name here. Like, I've said he's not my favorite person to watch entertainment-wise, but he's killed it this season, start to finish.
He has played an incredible game.
Like, really, really good. And I know you can say, okay, was this season set up fairly well in that he had Nicole in there, and Nicole had a lot of pregame friends, and there was all that sort of natural tendency to work together? Sure. But he also won a ton of competitions, and by default, nobody was necessarily going to take him far because he has friends in the game. He had multiple alliances. He managed to keep a lot of it under wraps. He duped a lot of people. He has just been good in all aspects.
Yeah, he has. And for sort of as dry as the season has been, I mean, he's going to be, for me, a satisfying winner. He played the game the best.
Yeah, he's going to be a very satisfying winner. If he wins this season, I mean, we have to at least consider him upper echelon. Like, he will have a winner and he will have a top 2 finish.
Yep.
And, the only other person who's had 2 places in the final 2 like that is Dan.
Yep.
Like, it's something that has to be really considered. I mean, we'll talk more potentially about Cody's legacy after the fact. Like, I don't have him right where Dan is, but, we have a little bit of time. We'll see how things shake out.
Yep.
But, the thing with this competition is just that unless you are like a super crazy studier, you're probably not going to do that well at it.
Yeah.
Why has Christmas not been going over this every single second of the day?
Yeah, because she was doing some studying at the beginning of the season. I mean, if everyone remembers the Star Babies that they never put on the CBS store for all of us to buy.
There we go with that.
She was spending time with her Star Baby studying. I mean, it was a long time ago, but I don't know why she didn't keep that up. I mean, she just might be too much in her head, because that happens in this game. Is really difficult to kind of be like, all right, I need to put that aside, get my study cap on and get going.
Should production have left the Star Babies in there so that Christmas would have had someone to study with for all
No, they should have put them on the store so that I could buy them.
Well, Christmas, you needed to have an imaginary Star Baby or something. Or here's another novel idea, Christmas. How about spend yesterday preparing for the veto instead of what she did, which was basically just be upset and cry and be really, really mad and just kind of have a day and talk to us constantly on the live feeds. And I get it. You didn't win $10,000 in the luxury comp. You didn't win HOH. You lost your friend Memphis. You miss having him in the house. You're mad you didn't pick Memphis in the luxury comp. You gotta move on. Like, the veto is the next day.
It's hard because I get where you're coming from. Yes, she needed to sort of pick up her socks and move forward. But this game is really difficult to do that. The whole, like, setup of this game is to mess up with your mind. And it happens. And there's nothing else to really concentrate on except that her game is falling apart. Quickly falling apart. So, I mean, it's hard. It's hard.
It is. And I think Christmas's biggest weakness, and we saw this her first time too, is that she really just sort of deteriorates as the seasons go along. And once it gets, because we're in the 70s now of this. They have been in there over 2 months. It is, I think, hard to focus and concentrate.
I also think this is really the first time that she's been in the game without people she's working with. Like, she's really kind of on her own. Yeah, she has this sort of, like, final 2 with Nicole or whatever. But, I mean, Cody's going to probably end up taking Nicole as well. I mean, Nicole's in a good spot. Yeah, it would be good to bring Christmas because she could probably beat Christmas. But, Nicole's probably going to end up in the final 2 at least anyways.
Here is what I hope to see from Christmas now moving forward, though. Because, she's been on the block a good bit as of late.
Oh.
But she's never really been the person on the block who really she knew in her heart that she was the person probably going. Like, this is the first time that she's really up against the ropes in that sense this season. Please, Christmas, I want you to at least campaign, do something. Don't just sit around like you did the entire time you were up against Memphis.
This is going to be a very interesting campaign since these two, Cody and Christmas, have been at each other's throats for a few weeks now. They've both basically been like, I'm coming after you. No, I'm coming after you. Why is he coming after me? Because I'm coming after you. And that's what's been going on. So to have to see this conversation where Christmas is going to have to sit down with Cody to ask him to use the veto and why, I can't wait for that conversation. She better have it.
I really, really hope she tries to do something fairly interesting here, or at least tries to find a way to make sure that Cody evicts Nicole instead of her, which is going to be just kind of like crazy and mind-boggling.
But I don't even know what she can really offer him. Because he has said he's not going to take her to the final 2 no matter what. That if he wins and she's a choice, she's not a choice for him.
I think the only argument she could say is that, Nicole's a better comp threat in this mental stuff than I am, so take me. Even if you don't want to take me to the end, you have a much better chance of beating me and getting to the end. Like, off the top of my head, maybe you'll think of something over the next day or 2, but that's the only thing I can think about.
Except, of course, Cody feels that he can just win and win and win with it. It doesn't matter, right? And he's not wrong.
No, he's not. He's been incredibly dominant, and that's why it was interesting sort of seeing Enzo after this comp sort of talking to himself a little bit. Like, I think Enzo knows that he probably is going to have a really hard time against Cody in the end, and he was pretty bummed out, just like Nicole was bummed out after the fact. And I think that Enzo, he was sort of like, that's why I needed to win this HOH, because he knew how hard this Final Four veto was and that he might not have that good of a chance at winning it.
Enzo is in a tough spot because I do think that Cody is probably going to take Nicole. So the thing, though, is also I think Nicole might take Enzo. I do think that she would probably cut Cody and would really try to beat Enzo. I just don't know that she can beat Enzo. And I know everybody thinks that he's driving around the clown car right now, but he's not. And I think that he can really explain why he should win the game over Nicole, and also just the jury not wanting to give anybody a 2-time winner title.
It's going to be interesting watching Nicole and Enzo over these next couple of days because, they haven't really been in lockstep as of late, but I think both of them know, especially after Cody won this, that they probably cannot win against Cody in the end. I think they need to find a way to patch things up and really make sure that if one of them wins that final HOH, that they take the other one to at least give them a fighting chance. Though, ironically, I think whoever does get rid of Cody of those two is probably going to clobber the other person just by virtue of getting rid of Cody.
The problem is I don't think Enzo is going to make the move he needs to make. He needs to cut Cody, and if he did and then brought Nicole, he would win. But I don't feel like he's going to do it. He is not big move Enzo, and he is loyal.
But he keeps telling us he wants to make a big move, yo. Like, where's the big move, Enzo? Like, I'm gonna be like one of these people who's like, somebody comes over for like a dinner, of course, before these present circumstances, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna bring a dessert, and they tell you this every time, and so you don't make any dessert, and then they never bring you any dessert, and then you just want cake at the end of the night.
Who is this person?
Okay.
You need to stop inviting them over.
Well, okay, this may have happened to me a couple of times in the past. It's just that they need to have these conversations. They need to find a way to make sure that they take each other. Like, I'm a little more hopeful about the idea that Cody is going to take Enzo to the end than Nicole than maybe you are, but I think at the same time, it doesn't really matter because Cody beats either one of them.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be close. And I'm not saying that, like, Nicole's not going to get any votes. I think she'll get probably a couple, but I mean, Cody just smokes everybody.
Yeah, especially, with this in mind. I mean, hats off to the guy. I don't know if hands off to the guy is anything, but, hats off to the guy.
I just can't believe nobody even tried to get rid of him all season. Just no consideration. I mean, there were some people, of course, on the other side of the house that just won nothing and could never do anything, but nobody.
Yeah, we were even talking about this before coming on. It's like the triple, when Tyler was HOH, there was an opportunity. I don't know if there would have been a way to get the votes to get him out, but, he could have at least made a little bit more of an effort there. I understand why he went after Danny because she was coming after him, but still.
Yeah, it's just, I tried to think back, when could have or when would have anyone actually have really gone to take him out. It's just, there really wasn't much of an anything. It really is going to come down to if Enzo wins this final one, Nicole wins this final one, are they going to be brave enough to, or understand that there is no way that they can beat Cody. 100% is just a no.
They gotta know. If you guys don't...
I think Nicole does. Enzo, you worry me, man.
Enzo, I need you to just, get yourself some tea, sit down in front of one of the cameras, give me like a 30-minute monologue, let me know exactly where your head is at. We need this. Maybe we'll get it on Monday's episode. I don't know.
Yeah, we need a little more insight on what is going on, Enzo, because I'm worried that you're going to give away $500,000.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Cody winning this season will be, he's the best player by far at this point. It will be the right ending, but we need a little bit of entertainment.
You guys know how much I love Enzo, and I would love Enzo to win, but Cody really deserves to win this season.
But guess what, Enzo? If you get rid of Cody, you deserve it.
Agreed.
Whoever gets rid of Cody deserves it, even Nicole, and I'm not even a Nicole fan, but we'll tie this up. What do you guys think about Cody winning the veto? I think I already know, but let us know in the comments. And if you did like this video, subscribe, give us a like, support us further, check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.